massive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream. Big up to everyone that's already locked in. Welcome to all the latest Chelsea news. Make sure you're smashing the like, subscribe if you're new around here. All of that good stuff, people. You lot know exactly what to do. Make sure you get involved in the chat. And as always, guys, we have got a packed show. I mean, feels like it's been a while since I've been live. It feels like it's been a while since I've been live. It's probably been nearly a week. There's been a lot going on, been busy, traveling around, all that sort of thing. It's been hard to fit it in, but we're back. We're here. I think this might be the first time I've been live since the trip to Cobham on Sunday. So, yeah, big up to everyone. It's good to be back. We've got loads to dive into. Chelsea's plans for the transfer window next year is going to be the main part of the show. We're going to look ahead. Obviously, we've got Carabao Cup semi-final draw, Chelsea against Arsenal or Crystal Palace. We've got a bit of stadium news as well. And of course, we've got the massive game against Newcastle on Saturday lunchtime as well. But before I say hello to some of you lot in the chat, let's a quick reminder, as always, people, make sure you check out Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Great quality, affordable prices, whether you want your Chelsea kits, retro kits, any other sort of kits. I've got a great selection there. Names, numbers, patches, whatever you want on the back. Make sure you check out Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description now. And don't forget to use code BLUEBROTHER at checkout for 20% off. Now, that is enough about that, guys. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat, and then we're going to dive into the show. Winning on the midfielder because Caicedo and Enzo are going to get burned out. Yeah, potentially. Really don't want Mainu. Wharton would be such a good addition. Yeah, Wharton and Caicedo would be a sensational pairing. Send Buonanotte back to Brighton. Yeah, look, I think Buonanotte will stay this season. But ultimately, I think that decision is going to be up to Brighton. You know, it's not going to be up to Chelsea to send them back. I think it's going to be up to Brighton. I mean, look, as an extra body there, make up the numbers in training, all that sort of thing. I don't really think it's a complete disaster. He's not playing that much. Yeah, we're probably contributing to the wages, which maybe is not particularly ideal, but yeah, it is what it is. Yes, big up. Yep, hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, people, make sure you smash the likes, hype the video, whatever it is you need to do. Make sure you do it. It does really help the streams out. It does really help the show out as well. So yeah, I would be very appreciative if you could be doing that, guys. Let's get straight into it then. Let's get into the main bulk of it then, because we had a Matt Law article yesterday saying that Chelsea's recruitment for 2026 will centre heavily around boosting the club's midfield options and easing the workload on Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Now, we have signed a number of midfield players over the last few years. Obviously, the main two being Caicedo and Fernandez. And then we've also got obviously Romeo Lavia has been signed. Obviously, injury issues have limited his appearances big time. He's played 30 games since he's been at the club, since he joined in 2023. So again, look, not ideal. Then obviously we've got Dario Asugu, who joined in the summer. He's been injured. He's yet to make his Premier League debut. Obviously, did play a few minutes at the Club World Cup. And of course, we've got Andrey Santos as well, who has made a reasonable impact so far. But the fact that Chelsea are looking for midfielders in 2026 seems to be it's one of two things for me. It's we're either looking for more depth, or there's going to be a big sale in the summer. You know, could they cash in on Andrey Santos? I wouldn't put it past them. You know, I wouldn't put it past the ownership to potentially sell Andrey Santos next summer. Lavia would be the obvious one. I mean, I think it's clear that Moises Caicedo is not going anywhere. I think it's clear that Enzo Fernandez is not going to go anywhere. I know people think he might go to Real Madrid. People are making a lot of the fact that he's changed agencies. But I'd be very surprised if Enzo Fernandez was on the move this summer. So for me, it's one of two things. It's either we're looking for even more depth, which wouldn't really make too much sense, or it's Lavia or Andrey Santos. One of those two will leave in the summer. The problem is, though, if Lavia is injured for most of the second half of the season, which is a possibility, then I don't see how you're gonna recoup an awful lot of money. I do not see how you're going to recoup a decent amount of money from Romeo Lavia. He paid £58 million for him. He's played 30 games. He'll probably by the end of the season, he might make 10 more appearances. He might have 40 appearances across 3 seasons. With someone with that injury record, it's going to be a struggle to get a decent fee for him. And it might also be a struggle to find a taker as well. It might be a struggle to find a taker for someone that's played 35, 40 games in 3 seasons. So, look, for me, we know about the Wharton links back in the summer. Adam Wharton this summer is going to have a number of top clubs on his radar. The likes of Manchester City, the likes of Liverpool, potentially the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, clubs from abroad as well will be very, very interested in Wharton. And then we've got the situation with Kobbie Mainoo as well, which I'll be totally honest, Kobbie Mainoo is like, what for me is one of the most obvious Chelsea transfers going. One of the most obvious Chelsea transfers going. It really is. What do I think of this League Cup draw for the semi-final? Yep, decent. I'm pleased from a travel perspective as well. We've avoided another trip to further up the country. So yeah, it's only a short trip to Selhurst Park or the Emirates, which is ideal. I've been donated £5. Wonderful. I don't care. I'm really not bothered. From someone who only comes on when we don't do well, someone that only does content when we're losing. So yeah, it is what it is. I couldn't care less what he thinks and his cult of minions. I'm really not bothered. Get a new centre back in January. That's not going to happen. We're going to get onto centre backs as well. Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's been great. The amount of brown envelopes with cash I received from the club is paid for my Christmas. It's more than paid for Christmas. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, I've really got a lot to thank them for. I mean, the fact that brainwashed idiots actually think that happens is incredible. It really is mad. But hey, it is what it is. There's some deluded people out there, and yeah, good luck to them. Yeah, I mean, look, Mainoo would make sense from a Lavia perspective. Would it make sense from an Andrey Santos perspective? Potentially. Yeah, maybe it would. I mean, to be honest, look, Asugu had a thigh problem, and then he had surgery on that, and then he's come back. And then he's come back, and he had suffered a setback. And then Maresca said he would miss the next 3 games, and that was what was that? Everton, this one, and Newcastle. Maybe he's back for Aston Villa, or maybe he's back for, I don't know what's after that. I can't remember. Potentially, I don't really know. Yeah, look, you could absolutely see Adam Wharton as a Pep side, as a Pep type player, 100%. Best time to face Newcastle this weekend. I mean, look, there's never a good time to go to St James's Park, but given they're not in amazing form, given the struggles they've had recently, this would represent probably as good a chance as any as we've had to try and get a result here. 100%. Yeah, I mean, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah, I mean, it's great for this time of year because you haven't got to spend any of your own money on Christmas. I mean, it's a real money saver, Yeah, so anyone that wants to save themselves some money this Christmas, have the club pay for all your Christmas presents, please do get in touch. Please do get in touch. I think Santos is more of a 6 for us. Yeah, look, Santos has played more as a 6 for us. He has played as more as a 6, but we've seen that, you know, he can equally do that number 8 role as well. He's done it very well for Strasbourg in Liga. Last season, he scored 10 goals from Liga. Last season, playing a bit more of an advanced midfield role, that box-to-box 8. But again, it seems like he's really playing as more of a 6 for us. But yeah, look, there's a number of targets we're looking at. Adam Wharton, Kobe Mainu, I mean, we have been linked with Noah Siddiqui at Sunderland. I mean, I've only seen one report of that. Keith Smith, you know, the 19, 20-year-old Alkmaar midfielder. Newcastle believes to also be interested in him. So, yeah, it's strange that the main transfer plan for next summer seems to be midfield. I wouldn't have really had midfield down as a major area that needs to be improved. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. I'm really not sure. But look, Asugu's not ready yet. I don't want to big up Asugu too much or be too reliant on Asugu. Yes, he was signed as the sort of the Caicedo alternative. But again, he's 20 years old, 21 years old. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I don't expect him to be stepping up and filling those shoes and dropping top performances from day one. I really don't expect that. But I mean, I'm saying that I would look. I could potentially maybe see an Asugu going on loan, possibly next season. But again, maybe I want to keep him around the squad. I'm hoping that Lavia can come back stronger. You know, like we've seen with Reece James, like we've seen with Wesley Fofana. I'm hoping that same situation can happen and can work with Romeo Lavia. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because it's going to be the same names. It's going to be your Whartons, your Mainus. And then outside of those, I'm not really too sure what other type or profile of midfielder Chelsea are looking for. You're looking for more of an Enzo Fernandez type. You're looking for more of a Moises Caicedo type, sort of a hybrid between the two. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. But let me just bring this up now. So, according to Pice, Wharton is the one I've heard constantly they like the most, but he will have a lot of competition from other clubs. Wouldn't be surprised to see someone who can play both 8 and 6 be bought either. Feels like they're targeting the wrong areas again, though. We have plenty of good midfielders. Keep an eye on a Santos sale. I mean, look, Wharton and Caicedo would be an absolute joke. Wharton and Caicedo would be a disgrace. It really would be. It really would be. I mean, look, Wharton's top quality. Well, wherever he ends up going, the thing is, though, he's going to cost a lot of money. He's going to cost big money. I mean, we were actually, ironically, linked with Wharton when he was at Blackburn before he went to Crystal Palace. I think if you're looking to get Adam Wharton, you're looking at 60, 70, 80 million pounds from Crystal Palace, which is going to be a big ask. I don't know if Chelsea are going to be spending that sort of money on players. I'm really not sure if that's the route we're going to be going down. No, I would rather have Lavia. I think people don't realise, or people forget how good Lavia actually is, how much ability he's got, how much talent he's got, how good a player he is, and how big a difference he makes. My first priority is to see if we can get Lavia fit and playing on a regular basis, because the quality the guy's got is undeniable. I mean, I think it's probably better than any midfielder we could actually sign. I think it's definitely better than someone we could sign. But yeah, look, if the club decided to part ways with Lavia in the summer, I I'd be disappointed, but I could totally understand it, given the issues that he's had. I could totally understand it. Bro, this is a myth that Santos isn't getting game time. The guy's made 18 appearances this season. Santos has played minutes. I don't know what people are expecting. I don't know why people are expecting Santos to like come in and start like virtually every game or start loads of games. I was never under the impression or never expected Andrey Santos to be starting on a regular basis for Chelsea in his first season. He's played more or less as many games as I thought he would have played at this stage of the season. He's 21 years old, first season in the Premier League. I don't know what people are expecting. I really don't know why people are expecting him to have played so many more games. He's played 854 minutes this season. Over half of those have been in the Premier League. 11 appearances in the league. How many games has he started then? So in the Champions League, he started 1 out of 5 in the Champions League, and he's been subbed on in 3 others. The Premier League, he's made 4 starts in the Premier League and been subbed on another 7 times. And in the Carabao Cup, he started every round and he's played 90 minutes in each game, as you would expect. So other than maybe not coming on against Bournemouth and perhaps not featuring against Atalanta, I'm confused as to why people thought that Andrey Santos would play more. I just don't get it. Bro, I'm not saying it would, but it's something that we have to potentially accept could happen. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. It's a possibility for sure. I'm not saying I want to get rid of Santos. I would absolutely keep Andrey Santos, but I don't think it's something that we can just ignore and pretend might not be a possibility in the summer, because I think it absolutely could be a possibility in the summer. I don't think there's any denying that. I mean, I think Santos has had a few more good games than that. Obviously, he was very good against Burnley. He's been good. It was good against Wolves in the Carabao Cup. I thought he played reasonably well against Cardiff the other night. He had a good cameo against Barcelona. Yeah, look, he's finding his feet, and he's done as well as I would have expected him to do. You know, I don't get why people think he should have played more. I get it. You know, Enzo has been running to the ground. He's been on fumes sort of the last 2-3 games. And maybe you think, actually, do you know what? Perhaps he should have come on more in those games, or maybe started a couple of those games. I totally get that point. But it's clear that he's not 100% trusted by the manager. I think that's what's clear. Guys, we're only on 20 likes. Come on, people. Keep smashing the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. But let's get these likes up, chat. We need to be at least 50 likes, and we're nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. So please do smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. All of that good stuff, chat. Let's get these likes up. Come on, people. Yes, big up, brother. Look, as long as the player's good enough and they're going to make a difference to the team, I don't care what club they come from. I don't care where they come from. Bro, I wouldn't say the midfield is dead. Like, how can you say, right, that Asugu's not Chelsea quality when he's not even played a game for us in the Premier League? He had a couple of appearances at the Club World Cup where he looked half decent. He played against, in those 2 friendlies we had before the season started. And we're saying that, and you're saying that the midfield is crap. And Asugu's not Chelsea quality when he's not even kicked a ball in the Premier League. You know, I just don't understand that trail of thought. I don't understand that trail of thought. I really don't. Mate, imagine sitting, I don't know where you're sitting, but imagine sending money in to insult someone. Probably sat, I don't know where. you're just weird. I can't lie. You're pretty odd. But hey, it is what it is. Whatever you enjoy. You know, we did lack control, but we lacked other things as well. No, look, we can never rule out anyone leaving, because if the right money comes in, then you know they'd be open to accepting offers for pretty much most players, bar a handful. Bar a handful. You know, they'd be pretty much open to most players. You know, bar a handful potentially leaving. So yeah, you know, that's where we're at, guys. That is where we're at. You know, I think most players could be available to leave if the right offer came in, and of course they wanted to move on. Yes, big up, brother. Hope you're well. I mean, look, KDH did a good job for us. He was a squad player. He was decent when he came in. He was good in the Conference League. He was much better in the second half of the season. I never disliked Dewsbury Hall. He just wasn't really. He just wasn't really of the level that we needed. I would have been more than happy to keep him, and he probably would have done a decent job for us. But he's too good to just be a squad filler and play in the odd game here and there. That's not what we're looking for. Like, he's better than that. He was on loan at Las Palmas, yes. I don't know how good he was. I don't think he was trash. I think it's ridiculous that you're writing someone off who hasn't even kicked a ball for us in the league. But you that's your opinion, and that's fine. But I just think that way of thinking is ridiculous. I really do. I don't understand it. Someone that's not kicked a ball for the club in the Premier League is being written off as not good enough. I'm not saying Asugu's amazing. I don't know how good he is really, but I'm not going to write him off and say he's shit when he's not even kicked a ball, or say that he's not good enough to play for this football club when he's not kicked a ball. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Look, he's doing better at Burnley. But yeah, look, I think he made 15 appearances in the Pochettino season. Not amazing. But yeah, we got half decent money for him, and he's doing well at Burnley, and maybe he'll get a decent move away from Burnley somewhere else. But no, I wouldn't take Ugochukwu back. Yeah, they do. A lot of Chelsea fans slam players, right? Don't rate them, and then when they leave the club, they start saying they're good. It's a really strange thing. You know, they'll batter players when they're at the club, and then those same players that leave and go and do well elsewhere, oh, suddenly like, oh, these players are good. Oh, we shouldn't have sold them. Like it's a weird thing. It's weird because some people seem to only start rating players when they leave Chelsea. They just seem to start rating them, and that for me, I don't get that. I really don't get that at all. Last year it was the carrot of Osherman. This season it was the carrot of Manyan and Simmons. The next year's carrot is ready in Wharton. I don't know. Look, I don't think any Chelsea fan seriously thinks we're favourites for Wharton. But we'll definitely try. I think we'll try. It's definitely a player that Chelsea 100% are interested in and would 100% look at. To be fair, Vega wanted to go. He wanted to play at centre-back. There's not really an awful lot that we can do about that. He did want to leave the club. But yeah, I mean, look, Vega, ironically, with how things have worked out, if Vega had been a bit more patient, he probably would have played quite a few minutes this season. Vega probably would have played quite a few minutes. No, we don't, and that's the most obvious thing. We absolutely don't have enough money, you know. Enough quality in the squad to compete on multiple fronts. The squad depth is nowhere near good enough, as we've seen when we try and rotate. It's not of the required quality. You know, it's very, very simple. You know, we've got the midfield depth is good. The centre back depth obviously is not particularly good. And the front line, I think the front line currently is worse than the front line that we had last season. I think there's absolutely an argument to be made that the attack has got less quality in it than it did last season. And, you know, I've said many times, whether it's on here, whether it's on TV, wherever it is, that the manager is doing a good job with what he's been given, and he's not been given a complete squad. And there's been gaping holes, and a lot of the players he's been good enough and given are not good enough at this point in time to achieve what we're looking to achieve. I've said that many times. Yeah, run the likes up, people. Run them up, run them up. You lot know exactly what to do. Make sure you are running those likes up, chat. I don't believe we've got a midfield problem. No, I don't think we've got a midfield problem. I think we're, you know, I think we're decent in midfield. I think a lot of the issues come sort of the strikers are an issue at the moment, and at times the defence has been an issue as well. But I think generally speaking, the midfield has been pretty good. Yeah, look, the wingers, to be fair, the wingers haven't done that badly this season. The wingers have not done that bad this season. It's the likes of your Joao Pedros, your Guius, and your Liam Delaps that haven't stepped up, that haven't performed to the level that we've needed, that haven't got the amount of goals that we need. That's absolutely the case. Yeah, Neto stepped up. And the one thing I've been critical of Pedro Neto is his output. Not enough goals, not enough assists. He's now really stepped into the mantle. He's Chelsea's best winger at this point in time. He's the most trusted. You know, his work rate is exceptional. Now he is producing the goods going forward. You know, he's producing the goods going forward, and he's showing what a top player he is. And so I'm delighted to see him add that extra bit to his game that had been missing. 100%. Yeah, mate, I'd 100% do it. I'm all over that. I'm all over that. All over that. 100%. Yeah, we'd be stupid not to do it. We would be stupid not to do it. Yeah, no, 100%. Midfield depth is good, but when two midfielders are injured at the same time and it wipes out two options and you're left with three, then yeah, obviously that does have an effect. Yeah, from an output perspective, they haven't. From an output perspective, they haven't done badly. If you look at the numbers that the wingers have produced across all competitions, it's not bad. Could it be better? Absolutely. Do I think that those wingers are good wingers? They're okay. But from an output perspective, they've not been bad if you're purely judging it on that. Again, people choose to just kind of ignore or pick and choose what they want to, little parts of what's said to sort of form their own narrative. The wingers, if you look at their numbers, which I don't expect you will do, but if you look at their numbers across all competitions, the output from the wingers so far is not bad. You know, could it be better? Absolutely. Have there been poor performances from them? Absolutely. Have I criticised Gittins? 100%. Have I criticised Garnacho? 100% I have. You know, there's been many times where I've criticised those players, and I've said we've needed better in the wide areas on multiple occasions. Oh, wow. Wow. Ornstein bomber. Ornstein bomber. Mate, why does Ornstein just randomly drop a bomber on a fucking Tuesday afternoon? Big Ornstein bomber. Big Ornstein bomber, guys. Huge. Wow. Chat, I'm just going to quickly change the title of this stream. This is a bomber. Enzo Maresca high among candidates Manchester City are considering in case Pep Guardiola leaves next summer. Man City advancing contingency work for possibility of manager change. 45-year-old Chelsea coach prominent alongside other potential options. Well. Chat, bear with me because I'm going to change the title. Hold on. Who was it, by the way? Who was it in the chat, right, the other day, who was saying, "Oh, Maresca won't get a top job. No top clubs will go for Maresca." Who was saying that in the chat? Who was saying that in the chat, that Maresca, if he left Chelsea, wouldn't be getting a top job? Who was saying that? Who was saying that? Who was saying that? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me who was saying that. But anyway, we're going to dive into this. I just got to quickly change the thumbnail now. 2 seconds. People, let me know your thoughts. By the way, guys, do we think Enzo Maresca would take that job? Do we think he'd take it? If he was offered the Manchester City job, do we think that Maresca would leave Chelsea for Manchester City? It's a very interesting point. Would Maresca leave Chelsea for Man City? Would he? I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting, right? That Ornstein is literally, because there's other candidates there, and he's chosen to name Enzo Maresca as like one of the prominent ones. Right, just getting a thumbnail, quickly change that. No, hold on, chat. 2 seconds. Right. What are we saying? He's not overrated, by the way. I don't understand why people keep saying he's overrated. What are we doing here? So if he's a top candidate, by the way, to leave for the Manchester City job, if Pep leaves, then how can he be overrated? Can somebody please tell me how you could be overrated, right, in that situation? Please tell me how a manager can be overrated. But bro, guys, this is major bomber. How do I change the thumbnail? 2 seconds, chat. But I mean, guys, what are your thoughts on that? We are going to I'm going to open that article up imminently. But please do let me know, because that's kind of, yeah, wow. That's come out of nowhere. That has literally kind of come out of nowhere. That's really taken me by surprise a little bit. I can't lie. Can somebody tell me, has the thumbnail changed now, guys? Chat, has the thumbnail changed? Has the thumbnail changed? Run it up, run it up. Right, let's get into this. Right, let's get into this. Yeah, of course it is. bro, I'm telling you, Maresca will be cooking. He would be cooking. No, I don't think so. Yeah, well, Simon Jordan does like to chat a lot of nonsense. You know, we got to take what he says with a pinch of salt. Unless there's a mutual agreement to part ways or a release clause in the Maresca, he's not going anywhere. Bro, it doesn't matter. You know, if a club pays the compensation, it's done. You know, if Maresca wants to go and Man City wanted him, all they'd have to do is pay compensation to Chelsea. There's nothing stopping Maresca going to Manchester City. You pay the compensation and he goes if he wants to go. Well, anyway, ultimately, Pep's on a new 2-year deal. So whether it's this summer coming up or the one after, he'll be leaving in the next year or two from City. Yeah, bro, I could see that potentially happening as well. But the fact that Enzo Maresca is high among the candidates, I mean, I don't know what other candidates would be on the list. I don't know what other candidates would be on that list, but this is the first sort of, we know that Juventus potentially could be an option, although there's not really been too much there. But if we let Enzo Maresca go to Man City, then we might as well just pack up and all go home. We might as well pack up and all go home and go and do something else. Because we're not serious. We're not serious. If we allowed a manager to go to Manchester City, we aren't serious. We are not serious if we let the manager do that. And we might as well all go home, put our feet up, and go and do something else. Enzo Maresca wanted by Manchester City, high among the candidates. This is a big Ornstein bomber on a random Thursday afternoon. Yeah, look, Arteta won't go straight from Arsenal to Manchester City. I absolutely not. Arteta will go and manage abroad somewhere, and then I could see Arteta managing. I could definitely see Arteta managing Man City in the future, but he wouldn't go directly from Manchester City to from Arsenal to Manchester City. I think we've got to look at this and think, if Maresca did go in the next year or two, which is a possibility, then who would Chelsea be looking at? And I think you're looking at Cesc Fabregas type managers. Maybe Liam Rosenior is a possibility as well. I mean, this is really taking me by surprise. I mean, it's weird that, you know, the comments from Maresca and then suddenly this comes out. Well. Shit manager, apparently. Apparently he's a championship manager. No good. But the great Manchester City want him. Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca is high among the candidates Manchester City are considering in case Pep exits the Etihad next summer. According to numerous well-placed sources, there is a growing anticipation of this being Guardiola's last season at City. A firm decision will likely be made closer to the end of this season. So they're anticipating that this could be Pep's last season. Well, this is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's funny, right, how Maresca said he's felt a lack of support, and then in the same week, there's suddenly an exclusive that he's high on the list of candidates that Man City want to replace Pep. Now, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but that for me is more than a coincidence. It's more than a coincidence that suddenly in that week, in the week that's happened, we get this as well. I don't believe there's a coincidence there whatsoever. This doesn't surprise me. Maresca switched agents, as we know. He switched agents earlier this year, I think back in maybe October, and he went to Jorge Mendes, and that was a move at the time that was touted as one that would support his journey in management. So already he was thinking about the future as well in management. This guy's a top manager. He's got things wrong. I've been critical of him on a number of occasions. But this guy is part of a new wave of managers. He's a top manager. He is. Give him the tools, give him a top quality squad, and this guy will win things. He's proven he can go toe-to-toe with the best. He's proven that. This is just his third season right now as a professional manager in senior football. This is just his third season, chat. The job he's doing is brilliant. He's doing a brilliant job. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, and this is it at the end of the day. If Maresca wants to leave, then Manchester City, if he's their top target, will pay the compensation and Maresca will go. If Maresca wants to go to Manchester City and City approach him, Chelsea are powerless to stop him from going. Absolutely powerless to stop him from going. Yeah, look, potentially yes, because they could have led with... I hear what you're saying, because they could have led with a different name. 100% they could have led with a different name. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Bro, I always thought Maresca would go to Juve after this season since he went with Mendes, but this wouldn't shock me. No, I'll be honest, chap. I think in the next 2 years we'll be looking for a new manager. I really do think that. Something's not adding up here. It's not a coincidence, guys. Bro, I didn't hate him. I criticised him for things that he's got wrong, but I've fundamentally always been a fan of Maresca and have supported him. You know, it's fine to criticise when you get things wrong, and that's okay to do that. Doesn't mean you don't like someone, but yeah, this is a big curveball. Big curveball. Bro, my biggest concern is who would replace Maresca. Because Liam Rosenior is doing a decentish job at Strasbourg, but let's be honest, in English football, hasn't done particularly good work. I don't think he's even managed in the Premier League. Even in the Championship, when he was at Hull, I think he was at Derby, he wasn't particularly great. I don't view him as someone that's ready or got the credentials to step up. I really don't. Yeah, you could look at it. Power play by Maresca, potentially calling out those above him, saying that is the worst 48 hours. The fans loving him. Maresca's in the driving seat here. And the thing is, right, there's a lot of managers who could be available this summer. Iriola, who I think is basically a Pochettino Mark II at this point. You've got Oliver Glasner and Iriola both out of contract. Marco Silva out of contract as well. And I wouldn't normally put him in a Chelsea managerial situation, but given the type of managers we're targeting now, he'd probably be in part of the thinking somewhere if there were to be a change. You've got Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid, whose job is kind of hanging by a thread at this point. There are managers out there. But yeah, look, I think this is something that Chelsea need to be aware of. Chelsea need to be thinking about. I'll explain why it probably wouldn't be, because this is the best manager we've had since this ownership came in, discounting Tuchel. This is the best manager we've had since this ownership came in. This is a manager who likes the fans. This is a manager who has brought success to the football club, has won 2 trophies, and is hopefully going to build something. And to sort of start again and appoint a Rossignol or appoint a Fabregas or whatever, yeah, I don't know. It's not great. It's not great in my opinion. I don't want to be starting. I don't want to be going through another managerial hunt and starting the same thing again. The same thing again. Chelsea have made this is Simon Johnson, The Athletic. Chelsea have made progress under Maresca since he was lured away from Leicester, securing Champions League qualification for the first time since the takeover 3 years ago, as well as those 2 cup wins. The club also believe they built a squad for Maresca to achieve this. Of course they do. Patting themselves on the back, because that's all these guys do. Pat on the back, never take any responsibility for anything, never accountable for the decisions they make. Mental. It's honestly mad. Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is, because at Strasbourg. That's the only reason Rossignol is seen as a manager at Chelsea long term, is because he's at Strasbourg. That's why. But this dropping the day before a press conference as well, by the way, is mad. Absolutely mad. Maresca, Vincent Kompany, these kinds of managers. You got Thiago Motta as well. Like, these are the sort of managers that Chelsea would look at. Thiago Motta, Rossignol's, Cesc Fabregas's. Would Kieran McKenna still be on the thinking? Maybe not. I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, never a dull day, is there? Never a dull day. But apparently, according to Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, the directors, this guy's not good enough. This guy, the rotations, this and that. Like, yeah, this wouldn't be coming out, by the way, if City didn't have a feeling that Pep was leaving at the end of the season. If Pep was going to see his contract out, news like this is not coming out 18 months before he might go. I think there's a very strong chance that City know or have got a feeling that Pep's indicated he's looking at this being his last season. Not saying it definitely will be, but for me, why is a story like this coming out sort of 6 months before the end of the season if the manager's just going to end up staying? So I think there's a feeling Pep probably hasn't communicated his final thoughts yet as to what he's going to do, but for me, there's no smoke without fire. This is not a story unless Manchester City feel that Pep could well be moving on at the end of the season. There's no story to be had here if that's not the case, if they know that he's definitely staying. Absolutely no story to be had, guys. So no smoke without fire here. Will Palmer follow Maresca if he goes City? No, I don't think so. There are enough managers to replace Maresca if he leaves. No, it's not about there not being enough managers. It's just about, would Chelsea be able to get a better manager than Enzo Maresca in the way that we appoint managers? I'm not sure we would. You've got to be careful. The grass is not always greener. The grass isn't always greener. Look at Spurs. Look at Manchester United. You know, Chelsea would appoint another relatively inexperienced manager. They would appoint another up-and-coming manager, whether it's another Pep disciple potentially. You know, again, I'll tell you who will feature on that Manchester City shortlist with Enzo Maresca. Someone like Vincent Kompany would 100% be on that list. There's no way Vincent Kompany is not on that list. Cesc Fabregas is an obvious choice for Chelsea. You know, obviously, if Maresca were to go, Cesc Fabregas would absolutely be, I think, there. But again, he's done what? A couple of seasons at Como. This is his first season managing in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. He's not the most experienced. You know, he'd need patience. He'd need time. Bro, they're not the only ones. So many managers play fullbacks in midfield or invert the fullbacks into midfield. Let's not do this where we think this is the only manager that does that. By the way, guys, 115 in the building. Keep smashing the like. Subscribe if you're new around here. All of that good stuff. Let's get a few extra subscribers, guys. Let's get a few extra subscribers. Come on, people. Run it up. Run it up. We got a Ben Jacobs now as well. Yeah, Glasner for me. Look, I like Oliver Glasner. I think Glasner's a very good manager, but you're absolutely right. He plays a back three. We've not played a back three since Antonio Conte. The back three is not really a favoured formation anymore in football. Very few teams play it now. We don't really have the players to play a back three. So that really wouldn't make any sense at all. That wouldn't make sense, Glasner. And I don't think Glasner would be right for us either. I don't think Glasner would be right for us either. Bro, they're not scrutinised. They might be, but, you know, they get away with doing whatever they want, essentially. You know, they get away with doing, essentially, whatever they want. Whatever they want. And it's kind of mad. It's kind of mad. I'll be honest, chat, it's a mad one. It's a mad one, chat. So they just get away with it. They just get away with it scot-free, people. Yeah, Glasner's leaving in the summer, 100%. No, we're not going to swap for Spalletti. Absolutely not. Yeah, bro, it's always the case. Other people can see the value, and yet some fans and our sort of hierarchy don't really see the value. Bro, if he does go, this is a big if, by the way, it's back to square one. I fully agree with you. Yeah, exactly what I've said. It's more and more what he's looking like. Bro, man, like basketball, football, lack of controlling games, teams conceding a lot of goals. If they score a lot of goals, it's end-to-end. You know, that's what I'm talking about with Iraola sort of being a Poch Mark too. De Zerbi again is another name. Yeah, we've all seen that clip of Egbali and De Zerbi in the tunnel, I think, before a Marseille and Strasbourg game. We've all seen that. We've all seen that. We've all seen it. So, yeah, look. Let me just bring this up quickly because there's a Ben Jacobs update on this. There's the Ben Jacobs update on this. Where is this Ben Jacobs tweet? But look, you know, big, before I get those Jacobs comments out, massive power play from Maresca this week. I suspect he knew of the City interest. I reckon he knew about it. He made the comments. Now he's got Chelsea fans behind him. He's got Man City wanting him. So Chelsea can either back him or he goes to City, which is bad PR for Chelsea. And it will upset the fans. Maresca's had a good week. He's had a good week. Big power play. Big power play from Enzo Maresca this week. Massive power play. Fair play to the gaffer. Fair play to the gaffer. He's played a blinder, chat. The gaffer has played a blinder this week. He's played a blinder. Bro, Pep just signed a new 2-year contract with City like very recently. He's not going to renew again. He's not going to renew again. Let me find... Where's Ben Jacobs? Again, Ben Jacobs. This Ben Jacobs obviously very good with Chelsea stuff, but this will be the line that the club are feeding him, you know, as it is for a number of journalists. This will be the information that is coming from the club. Enzo Maresca is understood to be a candidate for the City job, with it possible Guardiola leaves this summer, as reported by Ornstein. Chelsea have declined to comment. Of course they have. Maresca is contracted until 2030, and any approach for him would need to take place via Chelsea and would require compensation. Manchester City sources note Pep is contracted beyond this summer and refused to be drawn on speculation. Chelsea want to keep Maresca, and a pre-planned review on his performance is set for this summer. Maresca's comments after Everton on it being his worst 48 hours have puzzled several at the club. Unclear if driven by a potential vacancy at his former club. Understood some of Maresca's frustrations have been brewing for a while Chelsea insiders insist it was an emotional reaction to a big win. No, brother, I'm telling you now, this was not an emotional reaction to a big win. This is a 2-0 win against Everton. Yes, we needed it. It was a big win in the sense we've not won in 4 games. This wasn't an emotional reaction. This was calculated. He knew what he was doing. He waited until we won a game, and then he dropped what he needed to say. He dropped what he needed to say. Chelsea insiders insisting it was an emotional reaction after a big win. Guys, do you think we were born yesterday? Do you think we were born yesterday? Seriously, is this what we're doing? This is what we're doing, yeah? We think that this was an emotional reaction. This is what we're doing, yeah? Nah. Come on, people. This is what we're doing. Guys, 65 likes. Get this up to 100 likes, people. We're 115 in the building. Make sure you smash the likes. Run them up, guys. We need to get this to 100 likes. It really helps me out. Please keep smashing that like button. And subscribe as well if you're new around here. We should be getting some new subscribers on the board. So make sure you're smashing that subscribe button as well, guys. But yeah, look, do these lot think we were born yesterday? Chelsea want to keep Maresca. Well, they're hardly going to communicate that they don't want to keep him. They are hardly going to say, "Oh, by the way, guys, we don't want to keep the gaffer. We don't want to keep the gaffer." You know, it's mad. Mad. But again, you know, another one here. This has obviously been the club brief. Bobby Vincent this time. Chelsea declining to comment on Man City and Enzo Maresca links, perhaps rather telling that Pep came out earlier this month and called Maresca one of the best coaches in the world. Yeah, look, there's no coincidence to this timing. No coincidence with this timing whatsoever. But it's a strange one, isn't it, chat? Because you look at it, right? Joins George Mendes, right? Joins George Mendes' agency, claims a lack of support, then is linked to the City job. I mean, that's some week. Well, the agency thing wasn't this week, but I don't think, in my mind, there's no coincidence, chat. No coincidence at all that this sequence of events has occurred. No coincidence at all with what's going on. None at all. None at all. If he wants to leave, let him leave. Let's stop making it seem like no point in keeping. Well, what is he's not moaning all the time, but look, obviously, if he wants to leave, then he will leave, as is the case with any manager and any player. The point is that we should be doing everything we can to keep this guy, to keep him happy. No, look, it's obvious that he wasn't happy with it. Everybody knows that this guy was not happy with the transfer strategy. We all know that. He was fuming with the summer window. It doesn't take a genius to work that out. 100%. The next manager, if Maresca were to leave, the next manager that comes in has to win the Premier League. Has to win the Premier League. It's very simple. You know, it's a strange one. It's a real strange one. Yeah, bro, that's not going to happen. Chelsea, under this ownership, are never going to appoint a manager like Carlo Ancelotti. That's not going to happen. Yeah, speak up, brother. I hope you're well. Yeah, but, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I sort of laugh at that, but it's the sort of manager that Chelsea would potentially go for. I absolutely hear that. Absolutely hear that. Yeah, exactly. It's been a big power play from Maresca this week, and he's got all the cards here. He's got all the cards. Look, if you want me, back me in the transfer market. Otherwise, I'm going to go Man City. Very simple. We go to Man City in 2 weeks. That game's going to have a bit of an edge to it. We go to Manchester City in 2 weeks' time, and suddenly you're like, okay, that's got a bit more to it now. That's got a bit more to it now. That's got a bit more to it now. Do you know what I'm saying, chat? You know? But yeah. The Maresca derby. Exactly, the Maresca derby. If Chelsea really want to keep Maresca, then they must back him in January. Bro, look, January, I would agree, but we're not going to do anything in January. It's facts. We're not doing anything in January. They've got to back him in the summer. It's very simple now. Back this manager in the summer. Otherwise, he's leaving. Very simple. Very, very simple. And it's right, because now the City interest is out there. So now City's interested in Maresca. That now puts the onus on Chelsea to show how much they actually want to keep this manager. How much does Chelsea actually want to keep this manager? That's what it's going to be down to at the end of the day. And that's what it's going to be down to at the end of the day. It's going to be down to Chelsea to say, how much do we back this manager? How much do we want this manager? I'm telling you now, Maresca will not manage in the Championship again. Maybe at the end of his career or whatever, but he will not manage in the Championship again. Maresca is going to get a top job, as highlighted by the fact that he is one of the top candidates to replace Pep Guardiola. It's very simple, guys. It's very, very simple here. And this is going to test Chelsea's resolve. How much do Chelsea want Enzo Maresca? How much do they want to keep him? Looks like, look, Blueco's not changing their strategy. They're too focused on making money. I don't think this interest by City. No, it's not going to make them backtrack on their policies. No, but in terms of like, look, at the end of the day, like I don't think this ownership, this hierarchy, they're not asked. They're not asked about the manager. Doesn't mean that much to them. The sporting directors run the club. The coach is just there to coach. I don't think they view a manager as that valuable. I don't think they view a manager as valuable. I'll be totally real, guys. I don't think they view a manager as valuable. But look, you know, the line coming out, Chelsea want to keep Maresca. Pre-planned review on his performance is set for this summer. This I cannot stress how much of a blinder the gaffer's played here, because he can't lose. He goes into this review and he either gets backed properly at the club or he walks, he goes to Manchester City or somewhere else, and we look like complete and utter idiots. It's win-win for the gaffer. It is win-win for the gaffer. And he's played a blinder here. He's played a blinder here, chat. I don't even think it's about accommodating. I don't think it's about changing the model. It's more about just backing the manager and giving him the players that he needs or what he's asked for. I think that's very, very simple. Guys, we're 140 in the building. Make sure you are smashing that like button. It's free. Takes seconds. And I'd really appreciate it. We're coming up to 150 in the building. 81 likes. Get this to 100 likes, chat. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Would really appreciate it. Yeah, pretty much. I think ultimately that is what it comes down to. Ultimately, for me, that's what it comes down to. You either back him or he could leave. It's very simple. 100%, bro. He's earned the right to be backed. He's got the credit in the bank. Give this guy what he needs. Give this guy what he needs. Give him what he needs. Give him what he needs. Ambitious clubs keep their managers and back their managers. They don't just let managers walk away like they're Craig David. They don't do that. Oh, 100%. 100%. Saturday, we will be there. The Enzo Maresca chance from the away end. We will be there. We will be there. No one says he's going to get the City job, but he's right up there in terms of the candidates. No one's saying he's going to get the City job, but in terms of candidates for the job, he's absolutely right up there. He's right up there. No denying it whatsoever. He's majorly up there. No, because that's he's not part of the backroom staff. Joe Shields is part of the hierarchy. He probably doesn't. And it's a familiar pattern occurring here that successive managers do not enjoy working for this ownership or under this way of operating. Very, very simple. Our board at the end of the day wants to say that the team that they put together won trophies. They don't want to give credit to anyone else. I agree. I agree. They don't want to give it to anyone else. It's not about experience. It's about giving him more quality in the areas that we need. It's about giving him more quality in the areas that he needs in order to close the gap on your Arsenals, your Cities, your Liverpools, etc. That's what's required. That's exactly what's required, chat. Yeah, look, Maresca and Vincent Kompany will definitely be two names high up on the list. I imagine Roberto De Zerbi might feature on that list as well. Mikel Arteta could be on the list, but as I said earlier, I doubt he goes straight from Arsenal to Man City. Bro, he's pulled a reverse card on him. He has pulled an Uno reverse. Bro, if Pep leaves City, Pep's not going for another job straight away. Pep's next job will be international football. He's always maintained that his next job after City would be international football. It would be international football next job after City. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny how it works out. Very funny how it works out. Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? This is where we'll really see what they actually think of the manager and how important the manager actually is to them. This is when we will. This is when we'll find that out. This is when we will. This is when we'll find it out, chap. It's when we will find it out. Why the Sporting Director's not getting reviews? Well, they must be some. There must be some form of review. There must be some form of review. There has to be. But yeah, fuck me. By the way, even people that don't like Maresca, right? They like Maresca more than they like the sporting directors and the ownership. If he leaves, pretty much the entire fan base will turn on this ownership and these sporting directors if they allow Maresca to walk out the club and join Manchester City. And it's funny how Chelsea have declined to comment. Why would Chelsea not just come out and shut it down? Why would they just not come out and shut it down? I mean, but the ball's in Chelsea's court now. If you want to keep this manager, back him and make him feel like he's wanted at the club, and give him what he needs to take us forward. If you're not that arsed, then don't bother. If you're not that arsed, then don't bother. Look, Maresca doesn't have to do anything. He's made his position clear. He said what he needed to say. Now it's up to the club. It's all out there. It's all out there now. But this Man City story, I don't think comes out if Maresca hadn't have made those comments. I accept that. But it also doesn't come out if Man City don't have a feeling that Pep could be on the move in the summer. Yeah, bro, the project starts all over again. The project starts all over again if he leaves. It starts all over again. All over again. All over again it starts. All over again. Seriously. 100% there is. 100% there's more to it. There's definitely more to it. A lot of this is not... there's no coincidence with a lot of this. This is going to be very interesting how all this plays out. No, of course, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they allowed him to leave. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they allowed him to leave and they weren't really that fussed. I would not be surprised at all, guys. That's a very good question. A very good question. I've got no idea. I've got absolutely no idea. Because seemingly nothing's going to deter them from the path that they're on. Seemingly nothing is going to deter them from the path that we're on. So, yeah, you know, they're not changing it. They're not changing it. Not right now, he's not, but there's a genuine chance he could be going somewhere in the summer. Massive chance he could be going somewhere in the summer. I mean, he changed agency before those comments. But look, I agree. You know, he's looking forward in his career. He changed agency in the autumn, went to George Mendes, as I said, makes those comments, and then suddenly, less than a week later, after those comments, he's one of the top candidates for the Man City job if Pep leaves. There's a reason why this happens. I mean, look, Todd Boehly is like, people need to stop using Boehly's name. Boehly is barely involved at Chelsea. He's a minority shareholder. He's not involved in the football decisions, hasn't been involved in the day-to-day running of the club for nearly 2 years now. Eghbali is the main guy involved. Eghbali and the sporting directors are the main people in charge. You know, it's not hard to buy out Maresca's contract. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. It's not hard to buy Maresca's contract out at all. Chat, we're 9 likes away from 100. Keep smashing that like button. It's free. Takes seconds to do. Let's run it up. Run it up, run it up. But Maresca can put pressure on the board here. You know, I think they would. It's probably easier. I wonder if it's easier to get Maresca out of Chelsea than it is to get Company out of Bayern. No, that's it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point. I wonder who it's easier to get, Company or, because I think one of Vincent Company or Enzo Maresca will be the next manager. I think one of those two will be the next manager. I'm not sure who, but yeah, I think one of them will be the next gaffer. Yes, people, make sure you are subscribing. Make sure you're subscribing. Road to 20K. We are closing. Well, we're getting closer to 20K, guys. We're inside the final 800 and something now. So every new subscriber really helps. No, I agree, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you what, if you appointed Roberto De Zerbi, he will give it less than a season, and this guy will fall out. There's no way an explosive character like De Zerbi would not fall out with this ownership and this way of the club being run. If De Zerbi was appointed, he'd be lucky if I couldn't see him being here more than a season, because it wouldn't take long for him to fall out. He'd get annoyed at how things are done. It really wouldn't take De Zerbi long to fall out with those at the club. Really wouldn't take long at all. Well, I mean, look, to be fair, Maresca will do a very good job at Man City. Better squad, better players. He'll do very well. I don't think we would go for an Oliver Glasner because he's a back three manager, and we don't have the players for the back three. We haven't got the players for the back three, chap. So yeah, look, I personally don't see it. I personally don't see it. I personally don't see it. Yeah, look, back three doesn't really work in this day and age, in my opinion. It's a bit of a dated system. Very few teams play a back three. Ruben Amorim seems to be dying on the back three sword. Other than that, next to no top teams play the back three. Next to no top teams play the back three. So there's got to be a reason for that. There's got to be a reason as to why next to no top teams are playing the back three. Yeah, but all indications are the model's not changing. That's what all the indications are towards. Yeah, look, if Maresca leaves Chelsea at the end of the season, his stock is up there. His reputation is enhanced 100%. His reputation's enhanced if he leaves Chelsea. No, look, I think they're doing too much. I think they're doing way too much. I think it's ridiculous that the directors and Egbali go in after most games and discuss the game. and are critical of tactics and stuff reported. I think that's ridiculous, personally. Look, by all means, have a chat and stuff every so often, but after every game is ridiculous in my opinion. Just let him coach. Let him coach. You know, that's what he's there for. Yeah, and that's a major concern because Iriola is basically Pochettino Mark II. Rossignol, in my opinion, is not ready for this kind of job. And Glasner, look, Glasner a good manager, but he's never managed a club, a top club. So again, big risk. Big risk, but yeah, I mean, wow, that's quite the story to come out. That's quite the story. I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I'll tell you what, never a dull day. Never a dull day at Chelsea. Again, sporting director. Who's the sporting director at Manchester City? It's Hugo Viana. He's represented by Jorge Mendes. He's got a very good relationship with Mendes. It's all making sense now. Hugo Viana and Jorge Mendes, great relationship. Maresca switches agents to Jorge Mendes. Now he's a top target for City. There's no surprise here. There's no surprise here whatsoever. It all makes sense. It's all adding up. Over to you, Chelsea. Over to you. Has a Big Six club in the PL ever directly taken another Big Six club's manager like this in recent? I don't know. I'm not sure if you've had as a manager gone directly from like a Chelsea to a Man United or an Arsenal to Chelsea or whatever. I can't remember if this did happen, and obviously this is just reports at the moment. But if this were to happen, I can't really remember a time where a manager has gone from one sort of traditional top six club directly to another one. I don't really I can't think of that. I can't think of one. I can't think of one. Yeah, of course he will. I mean, yeah, 100% he will. It'll be the first question he's asked. There probably won't be any questions about the game. Yeah, that wasn't directly though. He did take a break. By the way, look, he's not gone. He's not gone, but it's clear that there's a potential he could. Very clear there's a potential he could go. No, look, no, I don't think. Look, if the backing was there and he felt fully supported and he was happy with everything, then no, I don't think he would go to City. But The fact is, he's not happy with things. He doesn't feel fully supported. He's not given what what he wanted in the transfer window. I wouldn't be surprised if he's strongly considering the Man City job as and when it does become available. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Well, the only option now is kind of looking like knocking down Stamford Bridge and rebuilding it and going to play somewhere else for a few years. The Earls Court thing's not completely dead, but it's kind of heading in that direction that it's going to be pretty difficult. Bro, people that were saying Maresca was a yes man were always wide of mark. He's not a yes man. Never has been, never was. Look, he knows the squad's not good enough. He knows he's not being backed properly. He knows he's not being fully supported by the club. And he's calling it out. And I respect him for that. I mean, the difference in working conditions at Chelsea and Manchester City is night and day. He would enjoy working at Manchester City so much more than he would at Chelsea. I've got no doubt about that. I mean, look, there would be if this did happen. 100% there would be. No doubt about it whatsoever. There would be major. Yeah, there'd be major protests. There would be major protests. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see how all this develops. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Mate, yes men don't call out things in press conferences or call out the directors of the hierarchy in press conferences. They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't do that, yes men. Bro, I will do a call-in show at some point again. I will start running them again, but I'm gonna have to round out in literally a couple of minutes. So I've got to get on with I'm supposed to be working, but 100% behind the gaffer. 100% behind the gaffer. Everybody behind the gaffer. Maresca over directors. Very simple. Very simple. Maresca over directors. All day, every day. Maresca over the directors, chat. So there we go. There we go. Right. Let's just have a look if there's anything else coming in. Doesn't look like it. Right, chat. I'm going to round this one out. Big up to everybody that tuned in this afternoon. Wasn't expecting to be live for the Bomber, but there we go. That's the way it goes sometimes. Guys, thanks so much for the support as always. Please smash that like button on the way out. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new round here. I will catch you lot again tomorrow. Got double show tomorrow. Got opposition preview dropping ahead of the Newcastle game in the morning, and then we'll be live reacting to the Enzo Maresca press conference and looking ahead to the Newcastle game as well, which we were supposed to do today, but this news came out and was more important. So stay tuned for that. Smash the likes on the way out. Subscribe. Love for the support, people. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll catch you lot again tomorrow. Up the Chelsea, and we're out of here. Love.